Okay, so in a recent video, I showed you how to set up a 5-volume family tree book, and I was setting it up for the Queen family. And then I talked about how when I was moving stuff over, I realized that I needed to reorganize the Queen family files on my computer and just sort of catch up and figure out what I was doing. I have a certain way of storing family history files on my computer that makes it really easy to find things and to match things to my books, but it also makes it easy to back up all of my work and make sure that I'm not accidentally losing things by leaving them on websites like Ancestry or Family Search, or that I'm not, forgetting that I already found that newspaper article, but I didn't label it correctly. I have a system that keeps me from just getting lost and falling down rabbit holes. And for whatever reason, this family fell through the cracks. The folders that I had for that family, I thought I had already done this work, and then I went in there and I'm like, this is a mess. I don't have the source citations saved correctly. I've got some duplicates here. I don't have everybody. I'm basically going to wipe the slate clean. I have a lot of stuff that I've scanned and things. It's not like I'm deleting all of that, but I am going to start a brand new folder, reorganize everything, and I'm going to take you along for the ride because I really feel like this is one of the most important things you can do to make sure that your family history is organized and preserved. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so first let me show you what I want the folder to look like. How do I organize things? So I have a folder on my computer called Family Genealogy, and if I go into it, I have different things in here. You can see this is where I've got the basic icons if I need to grab them. I've got some things that I know I'm still working on. Um, but then I have these folders that have surnames, and I need to be working on the Queen family. I don't have anything in there, but what I want to have in there is an index that has everybody that isn't going to be in my book. I want them all to have their own folder. So like if I go to read, this opens up the read family folder. I've got different things. I've got a copy of the book. I've got home movies. I have some scanned things that I need to go through. I've got other documents that I need to sort. But then I have this read index. That's what I want to create for Queen. If I open up the read index, it has all of these folders, and you can see all these people's names. Everybody that is represented in the index has a folder on my computer. So if I open up number 5, James Kennedy Gordon, I have all of these. Oh, right. I have things separated into first marriage and second marriage for him. If I need to find something on James Kennedy Gordon, that's the folder that I go to. I want to have that for everybody in this new Queen book that I'm working on because it's going to make it really easy to just grab scans, grab photos, look up research. But I also take these folders and I back them up on two different places, actually. I back them up on Dropbox and in Google Drive so that all of this family history is preserved. And a lot of these things are things that, like these are newspaper articles that came from newspapers.com. I want to make sure that I have a copy of these. I don't want to leave them in my newspaper.com account or, connected to Ancestry because there could be errors or I could stop paying for Ancestry and then I wouldn't have access to them. So I want to have a copy of everything that I have for everybody in a folder and I want to have it on my computer. I actually have it backed up to a hard drive and then I have it backed up on Google Drive. I do that once a month where I back everything up. Also, if you're looking at this read index, you can see we get down lower. There are these numbers where you go to like 98. There's no name there. When you open it, it has these subfolders, but there's nothing in there because I don't know who number 98 is in my index. However, there's a folder waiting for them for when I figure out who they are. There are also folders, if you go up here, see how I have 8 and then 8B? That is because this is a family that she had birth parents and then she also had adoptive parents. I have folders for the adoptive parents as well. And I can just create a new folder and make sure that they also have a folder as well as a place in the index. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make a big blank folder for the Queen family that has all of the numbers in it. And I actually have a shortcut for that. I made this folder called Numbered Family History Folders. When you open it up, there's numbered folders in there, 1 through 140. And when you open up the folders, they have these subfolders ready to go. Everything's empty. This is just, it's like a big stencil. It's just something that I can use so that I don't have to go in and actually make all of the folders. What I'm going to do is I am going to take this, I'm going to make a copy of it and put it over here for a second. And I'm going to call this the Queen Index. And this is going to be a shortcut where now I've got the Queen Index started, and all I have to do is I've got to go in and I have to rename these folders according to the people that are in the index. And I am going to give you a copy of this numbered family history folders file so that you can just do the same thing where you put it on your computer and then you can just make copies of it and turn it into indexes. So I'm going to drag this into my Queen folder. So when I come in now, there's a Queen index, and now we're going to rename it. In order to rename it, I need to take a look at the Queen index. So coming back to Canva, we filled out this index page, and I could just keep referencing Canva, but I'm actually going to turn this into a PDF just to make it easier. I don't want to be accidentally clicking around and change something. So I'm going to go to Share, Download. I'm going to change this to PDF Standard. And then I don't want all the pages. I just want the index pages. So let's see, page 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I'm going to download that. And that is going to turn the index into a PDF so that I don't have to keep clicking around Canva. There it is. And so now, let's see, let's make this a little smaller. Now I've got this index that I can reference really quickly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at okay, this is a little big, and then we're going to just make this move over. There we go. I'm going to take a look at the names in the index, and I'm going to match the names to the folder. So for folder number 2, I'm not going to do the root person because that person's still living, and that's why they're not in this index, because I'm filming this for examples. But for number 2, I am going to go ahead and change that name. Now I want to make sure that I keep the index number the same at the beginning of the folder so that everything stays in order. So I'm just going to click on it, add a space after the 2, and then do Georgia May Morehart. In the past, I've started with the surname, so it would be like to Morehart, Georgia May. Honestly, I tend to just, when I'm searching on my computer, I tend to just type the person's name out. And it occurred to me there's no reason to start with the surname. So I'm just doing it this way, but you can, of course, add in your names however you want to. And I am adding the birth year. Even though the index number keeps everybody straight, it's just easier when people have the same name to also have the year that they were born. So if you've got generations of John Smiths, then it helps to know which John Smith. In my case, I have generations of John Lanes that all need to be separated. Okay, let me just finish filling this out, and I will speed through this really quickly. Okay, so that's the end of the index. And you can see as we went on, there was more and more numbers that I had to skip because I don't know those people. However, it's important for me to have them in my folder because those people are people that I'm hoping to find in the future. And in the meantime, everybody that I have that is in the index now has their own folder. So like Mary Catherine Johns was born in 1874. When I open her stuff up, I have all these subfolders. Again, I just added these, so there's nothing to put in. But as I create stuff, I can add those things to the finished pages. As I make research plans, I can add them to the research plans. And my very next step is going to be to go in and download all of the documents and things that I have from online websites and make sure there's a copy filed in her folder, depending on, is it her birth record, is it her marriage record, so that everything is sorted. Like I said, I have a lot of that stuff, but one of the big mistakes that I made is that I didn't consistently cite my sources. So I have a folder here for source citations. I now have source citation documents going all the time, and every single time I add something to the folder, I add in a source citation, and I don't labor over it, but I make sure that every single source that I have saved has a citation. And that was the big problem that I saw with the Queen index that I had before, is that I had a lot of people who had things and I didn't actually have the citation. So I didn't dump that stuff. Like I said, I saved it just in case I can't find it again. But my guess is that when I go on to Ancestry and Family Search and all these different places, that's where I found those documents. I can just re-download them, cite them correctly, get them into the folder. And I will, hopefully be filling in more names. For now, I can just do what I do. It's funny, so this is the Queen family. If I go to one of my other families, the Chu family, and look at the Chu index, I have up through 15, and then I've got 22 and 23, and then I have 31. And that's it. All of these other numbers, I don't have those people. Now, the thing is, those people exist. It's not like I don't have ancestors on that side, but this is the Chinese side of my family. And I, for lots of reasons, struggle a lot more filling in the different generations with the Chinese side because I just don't have the paper trail. I don't have the same kind of records. It doesn't mean that I delete all these numbers. Those ancestors exist. It may be basically impossible for me to figure out who they are, but I am going to keep trying. And the fun thing about this family is that every single like new name that I find is a huge victory. So it's like this giant celebration compared to some of my other, whiter sites where I'm like, oh, okay, good. I found this mother. This is like, oh my gosh, I found a whole new person. So anyway, I'll make a different video where I show you how I'm actually downloading the sources, saving them to the right folders, and citing them. But for now, for this video, just know that that is how you set up an index folder on your computer. That is how you get your family history files going. And I am going to give you that numbered family folders file, numbered family folders file, so that you don't have to spend all the time creating this for yourself. You can just use that and make copies and get going. And then you'll know that everything that you need for your family history is in the right place, exactly where you need to find it. And you can easily take these folders and, your family folders and then back them up to a hard drive, to Google Drive, to Dropbox, to whatever you want. Or you can easily share them with somebody else just to make sure that your genealogy doesn't accidentally go with you when it is your time to not be here anymore. Okay, on that happy note, thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.